I've created the ultimate table of data that will give you a green arrow each and every week. We have AFCON, Asia Cup injuries, and even players being sold or on loan. And this has happened all in one game week. For all of you that have activated your wild card and are thinking of, or maybe you're just thinking about it, let me give you the table I was referring to. We look at tables with different colors driving our decisions on a week-to-week basis, but what does that even mean? What I've done is taken all the goals from open play, excluding own goals, and tabled them all so we can see exactly what positions these goals are coming from. So take a moment and screenshot this as I'm about to break down forwards, midfielders, and build my wildcard team with what we've learned. With Tony being the flavor of the week, I've seen a lot of Watkins to Tony transfers. And before we knee-jerk on this, let's talk about Watkins. He has blanked 3 out of the last 5 game weeks. The concern is he blanked against Sheffield United, Man U, and Everton, and that does not look good at all. And this is why we are seeing the jump from Tony so quickly. Tony even got a price rise before he even played a game this season. But back to Watkins. Here's why you should think about keeping him. His next 2 fixtures are the number 1 and number 2 in striker goals against. Now, you could say, but what about the blank against Sheffield United? All right, fair. That's fair. And I'd say we did this back in game week 11 where he had a few blanks and we transferred him out. And of course, what did he do? He returned the next 3 game weeks after that. Speaking of Tony, the upside with him is he's on penalties and he doesn't blank in 26, plus the double in 25. I'm a bit hesitant with all the yellow and red. Playing City twice in 3 game weeks, it's rough. But I'll give you my week-to-week plan at the end of this video. João Pedro has a good-looking stretch of fixtures that are favorable. He is a differential, but more than likely someone we would want to fund, ultimately the big hitters that we eventually will want in our squad. Isak isn't getting enough love as he has been overshadowed by the likes of Alvarez, Solanke, and Watkins. And even though Newcastle has dropped their last 3 matches, he's returning all of them, actually. And love to see the red for the next 3 fixtures. You may say, but what about when Wilson comes back? Well, there's a report that he may go out on loan or even be sold. And at this point, Isak would be a must-own if that even happens. Cunha has been steady. He has only blanked twice in the last 9 game weeks. That is amazing. That is incredible. At 5.8, he should be in the same conversation as we speak about João Pedro, right? But he isn't, honestly. He's only going to get better with the return of Neto, and Hee-Chan will be back soon. Did you know he's currently 5th in points for all forwards? So now we get to the Haaland-Alvarez situation. Haaland and Alvarez, to me, are an either or. With Haaland, he's not training today, so I am at the point where I would just hold off until game week 25. Even if he does come back, will he start? What will his minutes be? For Alvarez, the fixtures, I do like them. He's returned 3 out of 5. So if you have him already, I'd hold him through Burnley. To me, unless Solanke is hurt, I would just hold him for the rest of the season. He has it all. Fixtures, form, penalties, cheap, and he'll double at some point. I posted Darwin on here because if Salah is truly injured for a bit, this should keep Darwin on the field. And that's a good double. So this segment really was for everyone, not just the wild card activators. This should help you with your frontline decisions. To me, I'd expect to see most top FPL teams go with 3 up front. Too much quality to overlook. I'm recording this before the West Ham game, so I don't know if he's played or not, but it's good news that he should be back. You never want to overlook a midfielder that plays the striker position, but my concern with him is that he's not very creative. He's totaled a whopping 8 bonus points the entire season, and he's not even on penalties. And this is the other side of him. But a lot of us have him, and they got him at 7.2, 7.1, and you don't want to give up all that value. And I understand. I'm in the same boat. Foden seems to be the safest when City have all their full squad back. He has the ability to play on the right side and also centrally. These fixtures don't look great for him, but the double does. And if you're looking to triple up, I would recommend Foden. Saka is going to be transferred out a lot this week. He has just been okay, but at 9.1 okay will not cut it. He seems like a path back to Salah or even Foden, think about it, who I just spoke about. His fixtures, they're okay, but are you really scared to not have him? I love Gordon. Can't believe I'm saying that because when he played for Everton, I thought Newcastle spent way too much for him. But as of right now, he's probably the reliable player for Newcastle. I don't like the fixtures with all the red, but at 6.1 you are getting a full-time starter that has just had returns against Liverpool and City. Palmer, not much to talk about. He's so cheap, it doesn't matter who Chelsea is playing as long as he's on penalties. He should be on everyone's team, honestly. Kevin De Bruyne has been the hot name recently, and he should be. He looks like the best midfielder in the game right now, and he's barely played. Look at him as a placeholder, though, for Salah. And if he returns, whether it's coming off the bench or starting, then you can always look at Saka to Salah. What a huge differential, though, with the game week 25 double. Rashford is only on here because it seems like he's got a spot back on the team and his preferred left wing position, and he's returned the last 3 games. So I don't like his fixtures, but I put him up here there just to show what it kind of looks like going forward because there's been a lot of chatter about him this week. Richarlison is solid because not only is he a striker, but the returns are there too. My concern when Son comes back and Maddison he's scheduled to return like now, seems like, how many minutes will he get? I guess it may come down to his form. Next 4 fixtures aren't awful, but there are some possible blanks on the horizon. I didn't want to leave out Jota. I just didn't have enough room on the last slide, but I think if he keeps his spot up at the striker position and he gets all those minutes, I could definitely see him overtaking like Richarlison because the fixtures aren't great coming up. There's a lot of red when it comes to like the striker output against the opponents, but I think the differential part of it, him being on the top team, I could see him fitting on my wildcard team. This is the wildcard strategy I've come up with. I have 6.8 in the bank to maneuver with. I plan on going into game week 25 with 2 free transfers to allow me to get 2 more double game week players. And my goal would be to have Salah and Haaland, like most of us would. But to fund that, I would have to downgrade Trent. That would suck. I love the flexibility of 8 attackers, and I won't care for the bench boost at some point, right? If Salah is not ready to play, though, I can hold De Bruyne and keep Trent, and then Haaland just comes in for Isak. With my back line, I went heavy with the 3 starters and 2 playing cheap defenders, as I won't rotate them that much, but still a good for bench boost. As for keeper, cheap. That's it for this edition of the Differential Show. Please make sure you give the channel a subscribe, and I will see you soon.